One thing to add, Dogozo, on what you said about the issue of partners.
Yeah.
Remember we spoke about that. So the funny thing about partners is that you could be pissed off with your brother. Let's say you piss off with Tula, and then maybe you start like a gossip about him. How's that bad? You say, no. How's that bad? It will just take one comment that your partner will respond with. I will not better. Then you turn on your partner because now they're overdoing it on your brother. So that's the benefit of a twins, that we could see I fun to criticize my brother, but there's a limit that you can
there's a
go.
line. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a line.
Yo, bro. Kunjani mfana wami?
KwaMkhize, how are you, man?
Good, man.
Cool, brother.
So, what are we doing today? Uhlezi ungibuza lo mbuzo
We
Dom.
do every night. Try to take over the world. Try to talk to twins. That's what we do.
Why do you have to be weird about it? Like, why
Because
are we
the
here?
pinky and the brain. The pinky and the brain.
So I'm the brain and you're pinky.
No. No, actually, I am the brain, because you're asking me what are we doing today, and that's what Pinky used to ask, and then the brain would say, trying to take over the world.
Actually, if you think about Pinky and the brain, the Pinky was the one who used to influence the brain. So Pinky would tell the brain what needs to happen, and then the brain, because the brain, I was weak, but it's the brain, and then the brain would do what Pinky said. So I'm fine. Call me Pinky, it's okay.
No, I feel like when are you thinking of the brain, the organ? No, that, but these were just people, these were just their names. The other one was smart, the other one was stupid. Don't.
Okay. So,
no, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, we've got.
I said it's fine first. I said it's fine. I said let's move on first. You rude.
I will stab you in the neck.
Okay,
you probably pee sitting down.
So today we're having a conversation with a set of twins that we've probably known, geez man, since varsity. So the Ngidi boys have been part of our lives for a very long time.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're having a chat with them. So this is going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, man.
Let them in.
How do I look? Just like Siyabonga.
Okay, everyone, welcome to another episode of Life of Amawele. And
yeah, man.
We have
I feel like you guys need to have like an intro, like yeah, like some background music.
It's not that kind of party. It's not that kind of party.
Tell them, Tula.
Lalela usezofuna ukuthi sidlubu shabe abantwana. No. It's not that kind of party.
There's a certain
point taken.
There's a certain excitement with the state of alcohol.
Yeah.
There's a certain vibe in the air. I saw my neighbor, and you can see it womile, like born a bit with womile. Yeah, it was just weird. Anyway, gents, did you guys go to buy alcohol at the shops, or you guys already had stash?
On my side, there was a bit of a queue. The only problem is that there are some guys, some otoziabawazi, and they'll recognize you. You try to not show, to not look conspicuous at all. Then some nigga goes, hang it, who hello?
I'm always amazed by the people
that knows your cover.
I'm amazed with people that see you fucking mask. Also, I want to say to you, come on,
you know what it's like when people don't see you often, like at these places. They assume a certain
character of you, which maybe you don't drink at all. And so it kind of, when they see you there, it's like, hey, you're one of us. And then they make it a point to acknowledge you, not only just quietly, but they acknowledge you for the public to know. Hey, Shomuk! Ooh, Lola!
Okay. But
No,
like,
I don't know, honestly.
listen.
come on.
So I'll tell you guys a story that Utula doesn't like to talk, but we just talk for the story, Liz. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
so one time I'm in Maritzburg, ne? And I'm buying.
Nkosi yami, Thixo.
He's really looking down.
I'm buying utshwala. Uyabona lapha at that place lapha in town, la khona kaJombikazi.
Even the name itself, Jay.
Lapha Maritzburg, lapha uptown, ne? That place that opens and la khona ngo-2 ekuseni abantu uyabona ukuthi ngathi bayongena emgodini mabesuka la. Ne? So that day I get to yothenga utshwala nathi ne. Masifika lapha I'm in the queue. Uthula sale emotweni, ne? I'm in the queue yokukhokha. Kuze ngomuntu ethi Uthula. Uthula. I'm like it's impossible ukuthi lo muntu wazi uthula ngempela. Uthula, wele. Ngihambe lapho ibambela ngiyomlanda uthula. Ngihamba ngaye emotweni. Ngamlanda uthula ngathi ethula bathi ngabangani bakho ngaphakathi. He acted like uliqamba manga ne. Sangena kaJombikazi, masifika lapha kaJombikazi, naba abangani bathula bayamhaka, bayamjabula. He hasn't explained.
Mind you,
Yeah.
mind you, abantu engabazi, right?
Yeah.
So that just goes to show ukuthi between uNtokozo and I, mina ngumuntu wabantu.
Yes.
Yes.
You shouldn't have told that story. You shouldn't have told that story.
No, it's fine. Ukhumukelwa igazi wena. So James,
Yes.
No, but it's funny you should say that.
huh?
The same thing happens if uSiyabonga mhlawumbe ungivitile ukuthi esontweni. I don't know, in this platform we're allowed to mention the names of the church. And
Anything you want, dude.
I'm service esontweni.
Platform, so.
So mina ngiseve esontweni. Usiyabonga uAsha, uMr. laphayana ohloniphayo, you know. So here I am walking all cool laphayana ngithe shap bachita hamba kanjani dance. And ngifike labachita labathi kumina, how, hey my brother, kunjani my brother, ncegu. Ngithi mina, hey basi bangihlonipha labantu laba. Hey Siyabonga, oh ba laba bakuhlonipha ngale ndlela bakuhlonipha ngayo. But hey kunjani ncegu, hey kunjani. Ubona ukuthi they're staring at you, then babona bathi hey lo engathi hey lo ungathi ushawa umhlaba lo. Akusiyabonga lo.
Ajoni inceku yethu le. Ajoni inceku yethu le.
Leni hamba nomuntu wayo nendodakazi yayo babethi bona hayi wena sikwazi ngathi wena ushadile wena nceke ngathi usa-available for the congregation. Mina manje mase ngirokhapha lapha ngihamba with my partner and I'm fine with it. I have no issues.
Speaking of partners.
So now tell me, how often does it happen, or in your life, how often has that happened where one gets ukuthi abantu bacabanga ukuthi omunye kanti omunye and it just causes issues?
It's a lot. I mean, on my side, I mean, definitely in varsity days, and also just being here in Joburg, a lot of people come here and say, probably they see you with another woman and think cheating on your partner, and then some people actually have seen Siyanda with somebody, and then they went and told my partner that, hey, I'm cheating, and then when I get back home, my partner's furious, thinking that I've been committing adultery with somebody else, until we see clarity and we find out that it was Siyanda. I wasn't there on that particular day, so it does cause a lot of problems.
Awu kodwa ncane. Awu ncane.
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. A classic example, Tula, was Usiyabonga was at the pavilion and he was with his girlfriend. And so my sister's girlfriend was with his partner. And so the partner didn't know Uguti we twins. So my fiance's sister greets Usiyabonga all normal and says, "Hey, Gunjan." And Usiyabonga is working with his partner. So the partner of my fiance's sister, uyabuka ukuthi hayibo iSodom and Gomorrah yini le. Futhi into eyenza ukuthi nje ka-acknowledge one ukuthi
Broad daylight.
umuntu uhamba and broad and noSiyabonga uyambingela ukuthi hey kunjani and nawe yathi hey kunjani and uthi hayibo obon lutho wrong la ukuthi lo uhamba nentombi athi hayi ngiyamazi lo athi hayi nami ngiyamazi i-boyfriend yasisi wakho athi hayi ba Amawele only then.
I think something similar has happened to Tula and I. There's a place where we cut our hair, and I remember I was dating this other girl. So Tula's wife does her hair at the same place, and so Tula's wife would go do her hair and nails, right? And then she would, and then like an hour later, I'd rock up to cut my hair with my girlfriend. So eventually the story goes to Tula's wife ukuthi ekuse umnyeni wakho uyamchithela la unokufika nentombi. And I don't know, I think Ulindo just sort of let them be and didn't even correct them and left them to think he was cheating. But that was a thing at that salon until one time when I came together and everyone was just like, oh, okay, that's weird.
Now, to anyone who's watching this at home, so the Ngidi boys and the MKhize boys have a bit of history. So how long have you known you boys? Geez, man, 2004.
2004, pretty much, yes, around there.
2000.
About 15 years, I'd say. 15 years.
15 years.
When you guys still had dreadlocks.
Yes.
Do you remember?
And it was this big buzz.
And we both of us, all four of us had dreadlocks, if you remember.
I think it's interesting how us as twins, we kind of resonate with the different personalities. I see Siyabonga was a bit more closer to Ntokozo, and I was a bit more closer to Tula because sasebenza kaTruetsi, it's no Tula. We were entrepreneurial. In fact, at one stage, so Good Morning Live, lady, Tool, and they were prepping us around that. At one stage, Utula was very good at dancing, and I remember I was like, wow, these guys have got so much confidence, and I was like, boy, I wish I was like that. And you remember, and we were entrepreneurial, and then we were part of this group. It was young entrepreneurs who actually want to make a meaningful difference in life. And this lady said, "Unama contacts," and who's this Krumisa no? I think at the time Vuyo. And Tula was such a vibe, and and I remember we came to okay, we have
correct
do a bit of a line dance.
Tula is a vibe.
Tula, yes, I was just about to
And still is a vibe. Angazi imagine what's nempandla, angazi kwasho ama-threads are showing up.
So Siyanda, you're engaged.
No. Yes.
And you're engaged. Siyabonga is struggling relationship man. Or
yes, for me, yeah, it's a hard one.
It's touch and go.
It's a hard knock life for us. I'm joking.
But I mean, I think I've known you guys for a while, and at some point, you guys were both settled in relationships, and if I remember correctly, at some point, you guys lived you guys lived together and
Yes,
with
correct.
your partners, ne? With your girlfriend at
Correct.
the time. Now, obviously, Tula can tell a story about the brief time that him and I actually shared an apartment with our girlfriends. It wasn't long. I mean, they didn't even live there.
Yeah.
It was our place, but then they were there all the time. But that just caused a lot of shit. Like, how was that for you guys living together with your girlfriends?
Yeah, I would say that it was difficult in the sense that being twins, you've got a bond, and then I think sometimes partners want to come in between that bond and just measure the importance that they have over your brother. And I always say this to them that as twins, we've got this bond that today we can be in conflict, but tomorrow sis as one. They can't understand that
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
expect us to fight, and then when they see me laughing with my brother again, how sisixabene naye manje akasafuna ungikhulumisa manje, or I'm not going to get nookie that night because of that. So so it's tough because I feel like our bond as twins is incomparable to anybody, even if we can be brothers, but we have a bond that's special in a sense that it's natural, it's not forced, it's not time dependent, it's a natural thing, man. It's spontaneous, like flame to paraffin, you know. So that's the difficulties that we have because our partners want to compete with that at times, and it's impossible. That's the challenges that we have.
I
So
think to Siyabonga's point is that it's the challenge is that we are inextricably linked, and no circumstance, no condition can ever drive a wedge, a permanent wedge. Yes, we do. We are human, as we're human. We do have our fights. Sometimes
yeah,
they are long drawn fights, but I think what twins have more than anything else and more than any other kind of normal sibling relationship is the ability to make up so quickly as if nothing happened. There's no arch rivalry. Yes, we are different in our opinions, but I think those opinions are usually based on us being so passionate about having each other's back and having the best interest for each other, you know. So it's usually, I would say, that's the case, and so it's not well understood, I must say, by most, and that can really be something that's very challenging for someone who's pretty much, I'll say, on the outside, who doesn't understand
Yeah.
the extent to which people that, like, the way you guys are so connected. And there's different types of twins. There's twins that have different personalities. There's twins that have same personalities. And so regardless of that, um what joins us at the hip is that umbilical cord, and that umbilical cord, it seems like it was never cut at all. It's just
Yeah.
always there.
Yeah,
yeah.
true.
But now, in on the other side of that, uh, I know of twins that hate each other's guts. Explain that. Like, how do we get to a point where we have twins like the two of you and Dohozo and I that literally have each other's backs without even asking, and you have other sets of twins that are abafuna ukubonana. Like, how do you explain that part?
I
Um,
think, look, sorry, Siyabong. Okay, you want to go?
Yeah. So Tula, to answer that, I mean, it's a play. I mean, I'm a twins. If you look across, there are some twins. Usually one is smart and then the other one is not so smart. You find Umunya is academic and Umunya you find Chuboshu. There are those cases in society.
Guys, it's not funny,
So,
guys.
guys are
Too
laughing.
late. That's wrong.
Yes, because yes, ukhona uboshwayo and then omunye uyaphumelela and lo phumelelayo ufide lo sejele. So that happens sometimes, and it's common ukuthi how they explain that ukuthi in birth when the we are dividing, omunye takes the brain more brain matter than the other. So it becomes a 70-30 shift where brain matter of intellect and academic ability
Mm.
is 30% to the one and 70% to the other one. So in our cases, we've been special. We are very special and privileged. Intellectual to IQ is pretty much the same. But the
Yeah.
horrific stories out there, where the twin is now Agazaz now why Boshwanjal. He's just off because he's just off. Agazenzi genetically he didn't inherit as much
Inferior.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
it's a
I
genetic
think
issue. Yeah.
yes, I think to that point, to link to Siyabonga show, epigenetics plays a huge role to the deviations in character, because as you guys grow together, depending on your experiences and how you uncode and translate those experiences, that speaks to how your character develops. Now, you, Nino Ntokozo, Utula Ntokozo, you guys, how you've uncoded that and how your character was developed, you guys, there was a level of synchronizing that's happened
It's
between the two of you.
brilliant, and you
And
guys are just
Nati, we look to you guys and we're like, wow. There are times
wow.
where I'm like,
Yeah.
look, you guys are both the vibe. You can't really, if you see
Mm-mm.
Untokozo, you see Tula,
Yeah.
and if you
I
see
get
Tula,
Kupura.
you see Untokozo. It's the same level of craziness, but also at the same time, they're able to drill it down to being
Yes.
decent and be able to command a conversation in the way in which and drive the dialogues that we are
Mm.
having here. So I think to you guys, no, it's very commendable to see Guti Nati. It's not Siyabonga, we have our differences, but you guys have more similarities in character than what we have. For example, me
Yeah.
na. It's interesting. No Siyabonga. I'll share a bit of a story. Siyabonga is gonna kick my ass for it. When we grew up, he was the crazy one, like the crazy one, like the one I thought was gonna go to jail.
I
So
disagree with that.
eh, wait, he was crazy, like honestly crazy. Even till this day, when we went the school that we went to, people still remember the twins, and I kind of feel like Uguti, there's a legacy effect that I didn't necessarily work for because I was the nerdy one. I was the daddy's boy, the mama's boy, and Siyabonga was the boy's boy, you know. And interesting enough, there was a transition that happened, and that transition happened. The nerd became the one who wanted to be cool, who's still cool today, and then you then
What
you
do you
have
say?
Siyabonga on the other hand.
What
Then
did
you
you
have
say?
Siyabonga on the other hand. Wait, then you have Siyabonga on the other hand, who we've come to respect each other for that. Usiyabonga, he is well balanced. He can be very strict. He has a presence, a certain type of presence that is strict and disciplinarian in its way. And so we've come to understand each other, that he understands me in the way in which I am, and I understand him in his context, and that's what brings that respect that we
And the
actually
balance.
have for each
The
other, and
balance.
Yeah.
it balances each other. And there are times where we leverage off each other's strengths. There
Yeah.
are times where you need someone who's flexible, but you also need sometimes someone who will just drive that, a strict tone and say, look, umpedolo,
Yeah,
and
this is where we are.
so we balance each other out in that way, whereas I can be very diplomatic. Yeah, now he can shoot off the cuff and
Yeah,
not
yeah.
mince his words.
Yeah, he does. He
So
does. We know this.
you know what I mean? So that's what balances us, because I sometimes when I talk to him and I try and motivate him, be like, "Yabo, sizohamba siyolwela laphayana," but I don't really mean it. I mean like ukuthi, hey Bajit, hey, peace, sizongoxola. Yeah, no, he takes it literally. Uhamba nombhayibhayi masiyolwela laphayana. Bese nami ngithi, hayi 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 hayi. Bengingasho ukuthi phela ashamba kube nama-casualties. Bengithi asividane nje sifundise
But
isifundo kancane, and then bese
but
So,
and then yeah, he just goes.
yeah, so Siyabonga, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that to say that's true. I think you and Utula, your bond is inspiring in that level, Uguti, from a genetic point of view and from a strategy point of view and from a strength point of view, it's brilliant, man. You guys have something very special, and I just wanted to say that, you know.
I think it's strange because you guys have always said that, and I've never understood it because in my head, I've always seen you guys as for me, it's always been the same thing. You know, I've always thought you guys had a vibe, efanayo. But I think understanding you guys over time. I mean, there was a point when Siyanda and I would Siyanda, the one like you were saying, there was then a shift between you guys. Siyanda at some point.
The jail one, there was a call it, the one who's going to jail.
Yeah, there was a
jailbird. The jailbird.
The jail.
Ayijayiva kakhulu mfethu ayijayiva mfethu Bema and then esekhuluphe. What was the time when you were fat, my boy?
Oh yes, I remember. We used to meet at rooftop, SN10, yes, SN deck. And worst of all, I was wearing striped t-shirts, and you guys were working out. And I was like, I remember Gimpat Quinn. I was like, okay, maybe a nigga needs to go back to gym.
Yeah. And then you guys lost the weight, and you guys are literally the same size now again. Because there was a point when I was happy, right? When I see at the time because I was like, aha, sengakwazi ukubahlukanisa. And then the next thing you started running, and then now we're losing weight, and I was just like, this is some bullshit now. Again. I was so mad. So I was like, I wanted to deliver burgers at your house for like a whole month and just stuff your face, fucker, eat. That was my thing. I really just wanted to kill you with burgers. Like me, Tata.
No, but we could say the same. Because remember now, at one stage, if I may put it eloquently, you were bulging at the seams. And I remember there's a shirt. Oh, now you, and that's normal. Navy, normally. That's the shirt. I think it's your before pic shirt that you always show. That's figure up. And I think it's interesting. So I suppose Amawele are unpredictable. I think that's the one way I can describe it. And we influence each other because there was a time in Siyabonga where he gained at one stage, and then he knuckled down and said, you know what, no more. And then he started, losing weight. And then I gained whilst he was losing. And then eventually I was like, hey, see, this nigga's done it. And then we influence each other. And I think that's why we remain dynamic and we evolve each and every single time, because we all have different revelations at different points in time. And maybe it might take the one a bit longer to get on board, but eventually you do get on board. And that's why people get a bit confused, because they're like, okay, what's eating orientation in? Because at one stage, one is fat, and then people can take a clear stance and say, I can tell these guys apart. And then on the other hand, now it's unexplainable, I must say.
Yeah.
You know, one thing to add, Dogozo, on what you said about the issue of partners.
Yeah.
Remember we spoke about that. So the funny thing about partners is that you could be pissed off with your brother. Let's say you pissed off with Tula, and then maybe you start like a gossip about him. It will just take one comment that your partner will respond to. Then you turn on your partner, because now they're overdoing it on your brother. So that's the benefit of a twins, that we could say, I want to criticize my brother, but there's a limit.
There's a line.
Yeah.
Speaking of relationships and living together, so Tula and I lived together for literally about, I think it was 3 months, a couple of years ago. And we had girlfriends, obviously, and what I found was it was always difficult for the girls, because it was almost like trying to have two queens in one kingdom, right? And all of them are just trying to put their dominance in place. And both of them are right, because this is my boyfriend's place. It's my boyfriend's place. And it was always, I found it to be very difficult for amadoda amabili ukusahlala nabafazi. It's almost like it's tembu, it's strange in some way. Anyway.
Good point. Yeah.
It's tembu, but awubathinti.
Umthinta umfazi omfowethu.
Whoever made that rule is an asshole, because
No, but I want to ask you guys something in terms of that, your taste in ladies and everything. Did it evolve over time? Was it the same? Was there any similarities? What was your initial response when you realized, maybe uThula uthanda a certain type of woman, and Ntokozo naye uthanda, and coming to terms with that, because as twins you always have this thing which everything iyafana, but eventually as you grow older you start realizing ukuthi as much as there are similarities, there are differences as well.
I don't know, Ntokozo, do you want to take this? Because I think for me, we've always had a similar taste in women, at the same time very different, because I think this thing with relationships, Jola, can be very complicated, because it goes really beyond just how the person looks, so I don't know, it's been like awkward in Jabaning. I don't know if there's a trend that I can define at this point in time. Can you?
I can just say, Wuti, the one thing that was just in common is intombazane.
Yeah, true.
Angikaze ngivuke ekuseni ngithanda ixoxo nobafa lithanda. Yabona nje into engenzeki nje. Yabona nje angikhumbuli, ngabe nginamanga.
I know shit.
Nginamanga ngibona khona okuxhuma nje la sikuthande sonke ixoxwana.
And then
liyapheka liphathe kahle ixoxo khona bese likuthanda ixoxo liphathe.
Angakholwa uthula ukuthi hayibo uNtokozo is hooked.
Wayephi kanje mbethi ixoxo liyaxhuma endlini ukuthi singena ngixhuma. Ngena bese ixoxo
Libhizi endlini.
Libhizi plug time bethu.
Guys, this is wrong. And then on another note, something serious. How did you guys handle the progression? Like, for example, I remember uThula, we go way back, when who got the jobs first, started progressing, and it's a transition period where the one's starting to advance in their own way, and you also now in your way still trying to, because it doesn't always happen at the same time. Some people might be lucky.
Yeah.
But how did you, like, also like the fact that uThula is married and you're not married, how does that affect twins? Because now I know many times, like in terms of now the time you spend with uThula will be a bit more different than before. There has to be a level of respect now. Guti, he's a family man, and you have your time as well, but he's now transitioned into a family man.
It's been very easy for us.
As an example.
There's been no problems. It's been very easy. I think even the jobs and the money thing, for us, it's always just been easy. And I also think the marriage thing was, I think there's a level of maturity where you let someone grow. Like, I knew that his time with Ulindo was more important than time with me. And because it doesn't validate me. I think him hanging out with me doesn't validate anything. We're still brothers, and I think generally, I mean, it's like the same thing with you guys. I can go a whole year without seeing you guys, but when I see you, it's like we're having a good day.
The vibe,
vibe. So for us, it's been that. Life just goes on, and we're good. Did you guys struggle with that stuff?
In one of the conversations that we had with another set of twins, I actually ngathi ukuba yiwele is very similar to being married. Ne?
True.
In marriage, you have two people who are living their separate lives together.
Yes.
Okay? The same thing with twins. You have two separate people who are living their lives together. So my life can be going that direction and Dozo's life can be going that direction. But even though we're going north and south, there's just that something that just always just keeps us together. And it's the same thing with marriage and relationships. There's absolutely no reason for my wife and I to like the same things. There's no reason for my wife and I to be a carbon copy of each other. She can live her life and I can live my life, but we live our lives together. So there's a certain compromise and understanding and respect for the person that uphila naye impilo, and that's just how it is with Untogozo, and I think that's how it is with my wife. Like my wife is an introvert, or she claims to be. Put her in a public space, and you know, but you know. But at the same time, I understand. Like my wife would be in the house the whole weekend, and the weekend after, and the weekend after. I mean, by Sunday, I'm like, yeah, I'm going for a drive.
Cabin fever.
Because I just can't. I thrive in interacting with people. You know. So, but and we have to understand that in this journey that my wife and I have committed to live, we have to understand ukuthi unje nami nginje, you know, and that's just how it is.
What about telepathy, guys? Have you guys had an unfortunate incident where you felt ukuthi Ntokozo is being hurt, or Ntokozo, have you felt ukuthi Thula has been hurt? I mean, I had that when my brother was going through hijacks. Ushaova, though, you know, like I feel on that day I feel morose, and then the news confirms it over time and he was hijacked or something bad. So I was wondering, do you guys also have that in terms of if Ntokozo is going through a rough patch or unfortunate incident, do you feel it, Thula?
I have a different view to that. I generally think that anybody who is close to another human person, when something happens to that person, not necessarily Amawele, but anybody that you're close with, when something happens to that person, you might not know what it is, but you'll be like, yeah, man. Yeah, but the reason why people like to sort of parallel it to Amawele so much is because of that bond that we have from just our first breath. So there's that bond that some people may not understand, and they magnify it by saying all of these things. But in my view, I think anybody that you close with, that potentially is something that you can experience. Yeah.
Cool. Mkhize.
Now, boy, I think when at one point when Kulma now when Siyanda, I don't know if it was Siyanda or Siyabonga, but I think it was a couple of years ago, and you guys were telling me a story, and I want you to narrate the story about about the power of Amawele and what you guys had to go through when you guys were younger. My victim something had to happen.
Yes.
Tell me the story.
Yeah, so 5 and then so what would happen is Ugogo or my mom's sister will wake us early in the morning, and then also don't take one twin, pull to the left, the other one to the right. We mustn't speak to each other, and then we had to pee on the seed, and then after peeing on the seed, we scatter it on the field, and then somehow learn to vusa makabish and no belong like. I don't know whether it was because we peed on the seeds, and then sometimes we are called to lulaban, like to heal, to
Umqala, yes. And the funny thing is, people will come and queue up as and people will queue up at wele, bakhona wele. And and people will come and that's all and it's interesting during that time we assumed position, not we acted like
Now it's
some
about doctor.
physician, some
Came
doctor.
doc-
And with my figure, sithi simlule sithi jikumqala kanje, uthi kanje. Besathi umuntu hayi yabo manje-ke ngiyazazi ukuthi sengiluleme ngoba sengithintwe izandla zamawele.
The famous one, the Maslekuns of the township. Sing it right, Willie.
Wait, so now let me ask this. Ngikubile ekuseni ngebhadi nabingelelani. U-anti uzonishaya ke manje athi ngitheni kumina ngokubingelelana.
Yes.
Asatshali lapho. Baqhubeke kusasa.
That is intense. I didn't know that one.
You didn't know that one?
No.
And you speak on it, you go,
Yeah, we whispered sweet nothings to the seed to grow.
Oh, that is intense. That is intense. Oh, crap. James.
Amawele. Izandla zamawele. Namathi amawele.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yes.
do you understand ukuthi icorona ila?
Ayilungisa. Thina we said this ukuthi icorona sayilungisa bafethu. Corona ngiyakutshela.
Ngayilungisa. Yeah.
Gentlemen.
The other thing is, last thing. Were you guys ever in a fight and then you just come into a fight, you don't even know what the origin of that fight was, but you just came and defended Untowozo noMuthula. You just came in and then you asked later, hey, kwenzenjani laphayana?
Akhulumi vele. Uyangena.
Yeah,
Hakhulumi.
no, listen, Untowozo or with the outside community, he's always right. And until Siba Sobabile, I'm like, come on, there's that united front that we put out there, and it's important, man. And I think you do that with the people that you love,
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you boys, did that happen to you?
Plenty times, but Siyabonga has been the one who started, and then I just come. No, it was okay. Correction, I started. Siyabonga comes in, and then he just comes in, takes the
flying kick,
flying kick. But me, being the diplomatic one, I always say, "Who wrong, Siyabonga?" And he's like, "I stand up for you, even when you're wrong." And so that's
You traitor.
that's where I am a traitor, because I'll be like, "Hi, Siyabonga, wrong, lapayan. Wrong." And then he's like, "You're a traitor." I mean, I don't even ask questions. I just join in and ask later.
Oh, damn it. I really didn't know about the seeds. I'm still thinking in my head. Because Tula and I never
Really? Have I never told you about this?
No.
Namlalela. When they told me this story, I was like, it can't be true. It can't be true.
That is intense.
Actually, you guys have inspired me. Get weekend, well, not this one, next weekend. Uzovuka ekuseni ngakhulumisa umuntu ngiyokwenza ingadi.
I also think ukuthi there's a possibility mawufuna ukumithisa. Ungakhulumisa umuntu nawe iseed yakho vele uyibeke.
You know something naive? I didn't know that Amawele can get Amawele. That's how naive I was. I thought maybe that's like doesn't happen. Then other friends, I'll introduce you guys to them. Both of them got twins.
I would have actually loved to have twins.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that I'm gonna have twins. I think so. I've been told. So ladies, if you're looking for
There's a big chance.
Yeah, if you're looking for someone to have twins with, let me know. We'll prep a lot before we actually do that thing. I feel like that should be the last thing I say tonight. I've said enough.
Yeah. To the doubling effect.
The doubling effect.
That's me.
And so you guys, did you guys study the same thing?
No.
but you guys have something that has to do with bio whatever.
Oh, for me, it's BSc Chemistry and BSc Chemical Engineering. And then Siyanda, it's BSc Biochemistry, Genetics, and Microbiology.
This is why
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna say anything else. You guys are too smart for me. I'm done here. I am. I am.
No, it's fine. Guys, it's been a good chat. We now realize
Yeah.
you guys are the smart twins. It's okay, Siyabonga.
Yeah.
Siyabonga.
You guys are the smart ones. It's fine. I feel like there's a possibility that you guys might possibly be the smartest twins we've done yet. like I'm sorry to everybody else. Like none of them have a BSc in the biopsychology. No one else. It's just you guys. And I really feel like no one else has that thing in the world ever. It's a biochemistry psychology of international people. That's, you guys are so fun.
Thank you so much, boys. Any parting shots from you guys?
No, thank you so
we
much,
just
man.
thank you guys. Keep up the great work. I think the respect that we have for you guys is unimaginable. We just want to encourage you guys just to carry on doing what you guys are doing. I think what we like the most about you guys have been consistent throughout the years, and in your union, in the way in which you inspire people out there, whether it's through this platform or whether it's through just that individualized experience. I mean, I can honestly say if I experience Ntokozo, I experience Tool. And that's the beauty of it. You guys, both of you guys, have definitely something worthwhile to offer, and I think the world is yet to know more of you guys. And keep it up, and keep flying the flag high. We are proud of you, and thank you. And it's an honor that you guys have actually invited us to engage in such dialogue.
I think it's I think it's an understatement to say you guys are more than brothers to me, because I remember you gave me a customer and I'm still running a business of removals. There's some lady a customer that you referred to me in Parktown in Joburg.
Well, look, while we're giving each other props, I think Nami, I need to give you guys props. I don't think that probably my life would have turned out the way that it did if it wasn't for you guys. So I think when I Chezelbov, with our truest relationship, so I think initially I've been closer to you, right? And do you remember our trips to Ekopo?
So live to Gogo was nigu 5 rand. What when house Siyabonga Gogo 5 rand wa petrol Siyabonga Gogo.
I think Utula shares a lot with you guys. Nahamba now uthenga ilicense angeke ngiyibaleke le nto ayenze eMaritzburg, angeke ngiyibaleke le nenye. Ayikhulume ku internet leyo lena ayenze eMaritzburg, ngiyayazi nani.
But you know what? It's good to know Uguti, there's a set of twins out there that I think Ntokozo and I can always just lean on, and you guys have been that, so thank you, man. I don't think there's ever been anything that I've asked of the both of you in the past 15 years that I've known you and you guys have said no. I don't think so. So you guys are probably the nicest twins that are probably the closest twins that Ntokozo and I actually have. And yeah, man, thank you guys. You guys, I think probably then this relationship is a 4-way relationship, because I just think when I was
Papa,